hair standing on end, bowed down his head to the Lord with his hands folded in salutation, said. The word tataha then is used to show what happened after Arjuna saw the world with its manifold divisions gathered in one in the body of the Supreme Soul. First, it says, Arjuna was amazed. He was struck with amazement. Just see what a great transformation this is. One who is struck with bewilderment is now struck with amazement. One who is struck with delusion is now struck with amazement. Then Arjuna's hairs stood on end. Such was Arjuna's delight. The name Dhananjaya, winner of wealth, is used for Arjuna, which we explained in previous chapters. Arjuna then bowed down his head to the Lord and folded his hands in salutation. Out of the 5 main points of the Vishwarup, universal form, the last part, Vismay, wonder, is demonstrated here. Today, there is a very strong trend moving around in the world destroying Vismay, wonder, and destroying innocence. The world has one activity, and that is to destroy Vismay, wonder. I cannot even find the right English word for Vismay. What type of feeling is Vismay? When a small child sees a moon in the sky, or when it sees a flower blooming, then it looks at it in such a nice way. So many questions arise in the child's mind, and so many things arise in the child's mind. When a grandmother is telling a story, then the child aged 3 to 4 has this Vismay that everything my grandmother is telling me is true. The fairy in the clouds is also true for the child. Everything that is there is true for the child. The child does not think anything to be false, and the bliss that the child gets from this is Vismay. But the more and more we get older, the more and more false we get. Samartha Swami Ramdas, who is the guru of the great King Shivaji, said, Vaya torate toro hono gele, vaya torate sur hono gele. Those who are young in age are great, and those who are old in age are thieves. There is no childlikeness left in people. Vismay is so important. Vismay does not only have inquisitiveness, Vismay is a very beautiful thing. When the child sees a moon risen in the sky, then the child asks his father, what is this, father? The father tells the child that the uncle Moon. The child says, really? This is Moon uncle? The child thinks that in his mind that I will go to the house of Moon uncle, we'll do this and that, and the Moon uncle will feed me cookies and milk. The child gets so excited and happy, but when the child turns 4, 5 or 6 years old, then the child realizes that the moon is in space and it is finished. So Vismay is killed so much that the whole bubble bursts. Vismay should last. The older we get, then the more that Vismay gets destroyed for us. I'm not saying that you should not know that the moon circulates the sun. You should know this. You should have a knowledge of science, and you should have an awareness. But if Vismay lasts even after attaining that wisdom, then this is a great achievement in life, which rishis have and which saints have. The Supreme Soul has become clear in front of him. All the secrets of the universe have been revealed in front of him. Yet he is looking at the world from the perspective of a child, that such a beautiful Leela game of the Supreme Soul is running here. This is Vismay. This is a very big achievement. Today, we only have 2 things, a quest for information and a conquest of nature. A quest for information and a conquest of nature. That is all. People just try to gather as much information as they can, and people try to conquer nature as much as they can. Objects are enough, and I'm not against it, but Vismay should last. After seeing the Vishwa of the universal form, if there is one reason why Arjuna got bliss, then it is because Arjuna had attained Vismay. If Arjuna had not got wonder, in fact, leave the map of Arjuna, whenever and wherever we have had bliss in life, and all the nice moments we have had are moments of wonder. If you have maybe been there, then remember when you first went to stand next to the Taj Mahal. A poet has described the Taj Mahal as a poetic marble. When you saw this, then you had so much wonder that how must they have made this? What must they have done? Such a big dome, and on that dome there is a moon. How must they have placed it there? This is Vismay. You have been moving around from the Taj Mahal for 30 minutes or 45 minutes, and you got bliss from this. But a person living in Agra who sells small toys of the Taj Mahal in the streets near the Taj Mahal will be seeing the Taj Mahal for 12 hours every day, yet does he get this feeling in his heart from seeing it? No. If you go for a second time, then a third time, and then for a fourth time, then you just become a guide of the Taj Mahal. And when you become a guide, then you fall. Then when a friend comes from abroad and you have to show him around, they ask to come for company because there's not anyone there, and you say, okay, I'll come with you. And there are some funny people who just tell them to go to visit in a taxi while they themselves will sleep in the hotel. You go all the way there, and yet your mind does not wish to see the Taj Mahal. This is what happens because Vismay has been finished. The bliss has gone. Wherever and whenever there is Vismay, then there is bliss. Always make an effort to ensure that the child residing within us stays alive. We press on the throat of this child and close the child's throat. We think that the quicker this happens, the quicker the possible this Vismay should be killed. People say, wow, he has become so practical. But in reality, he's become so useless when he becomes practical. This is because he has lost all his bliss. He should have Vismay. And when you have a little of this Vismay towards the world, then you have Vismay towards the Supreme Soul. In the fields of bhakti, devotion, gnan, wisdom, the occult and spirituality, there is not much importance in trying to be clever. The more that this Vismay lasts, then the more bliss you'll get. Study the scriptures and at the same time make your Vismay last. I gave the example earlier of the person who had memorized all 700 verses of the Gita and lost his Vismay. The Gita fell out of his hands. The more that Vismay lasts and the more you read the Gita, then you will attain the juice of the Gita. When you are at home, then think about how Vismay can last in you. Vismay should last. And because Vismay has lasted, Arjuna has become struck with amazement. Do you not feel that this whole universe is a tradition of wonders? The first big wonder is birth. One should have Vismay at this. If you keep looking at a young child, then you should have Vismay. When you see a young child, then you fall short of seeing God. If you have Vismay, then you'll be able to see the Supreme Soul in the child's eyes. Each and every child is a poem of the Supreme Soul. One should get more bliss from seeing a child than the bliss that they get from seeing a blooming flower. The Lord has become manifest. In the same way that birth is a wonder, in the same way this whole life is a wonder. Every day it should bring new experiences from you. Dina dina navam. Every day the sun rises, the wind blows, the rivers flow, rain falls, flowers bloom, and birds sing. This is all Vismay. How does it all happen? In the same way that this birth is a place for Vismay, and life is a Vismay, in the same way death is also a Vismay. We have created a fear of death. This is an activity to make Vismay go far away. Either we have become too clever and Vismay goes away, or we get scared and Vismay goes away. You cannot derive the pleasures from these. If you have Vismay from death, then you get bliss from death. Inside Buckingham Palace in London, there was a show going on, and Guruji and his family had gone to see it. There was a man who was wearing a frightening dress with makeup, big teeth, and his hair everywhere. He was dressed to scare everyone. There was a big show of how people would treat prisoners in olden times in Britain. And there was a person who would just move around everywhere, and he would move around in such a way that he would scare everyone. If you go to some places inside the palace, then this person would be standing there, and the red lights would come on. People would just run away in fear. Guruji saw them, and both his daughters were with him. A person in a big costume ran out screaming, and his daughter Namasvi would tell him that she does not want to go inside there. He'd tell her that, come daughter, there's nothing in there, it's all false. She said no, because all of these big girls are coming outside running. He told her, come, it is nothing, and he got all of them to shake their hands with her to show her that these people were wearing fake costumes. If he were to tell the truth, then one of these people would really come in front of them. When they come in front of them, their hearts would beat fast in fear, because they would think, who is this who has come here? They created this so nicely, but one has to do this to make the fear go away by shaking hands with them. What I mean to say is death is also Vismay, but how? If one fears from it, then they would think that they would have the term, because 12 to 15 people came out screaming, then they'll have to go, no matter if they paid expenses in the ticket and have done so much. Despite this, they still have to come back outside. If this happens, then they will never be able to go. But instead of that fear, if they maintain that Vismay, then they'll think that no, there is something there, that if people were going to die, then they would not send them there. We all know all of this logically, that we have bought the ticket and have come inside, but people have not sent inside to kill us. In reality, if there was a ghost, goblin or demon, then they would not send them inside there. These are all facts of life. We know that they have been sent there, and we know that the exit signs have been put up every outside, and we have to get out of it. There is a way to get out of it, yet people get fear from this. After this event, the thought came to Guruji's mind that it is not like this with us, that we've come here with a ticket of birth, and at some place while taking a turn, we see a person in the costume of death, and we start running screaming, "Death! Death!" People do not want to go there, but they will still have to go, because it is the only way to go outside. There is no other way. You have to go through there. Can you not do this and keep a little bit of vismay? We can go inside thinking about where the people in costumes are, and when we can see the first person in the costume, then we go and shake their hands and ask them how they are. Now, has this fear lasted? No. Shri Krishna says in the 7th verse of the 12th chapter of the Gita that Tesham aham samudarta mrityu sansasagara bhavami nachiratata nevashita chetasam. Those whose thoughts are set on me, I straightway deliver from the ocean of death-bound existence of Bharta or Arjuna. If you make your mind steady on the Supreme Soul, then you will have no fear of death. This is because your vismay has lasted. If you have fear, then you have closed the door. When you take something for granted, then you have been deprived of vismay. And if you fear, then you have also been deprived of vismay. Never take anything for granted and never fear anything. If this happens, then vismay will last in the world, and when vismay lasts, only then will bliss will come. Death is a very big wonder. Birth is a very big wonder. Life is also a wonder, and death is also a wonder. Arjuna had vismay happen to him. It is a very big gift to maintain vismay and this sense of wonder. Arjuna's hairs all stood up on end, and Arjuna bowed down to the Supreme Soul and folded his hands in salutation. Now Arjuna himself will speak. What will Arjuna say? We'll see in the next verse.